Mr. Sean Kelly, member of the Madison District. Mr. George Spalding, member of the Bowling Green District. Ms. Tinka Harris, vice chairperson from the Port Royal District. Ms. Nancy Carson, chairperson representing the Madison I District. Dr. George Parker, division superintendent. Mr. John Copeland, member from the Western Caroline District. And I'm Lisa Stevens, clerk of the board.
Because of what's going on in our country today, if you remember 16 years ago today, I'm sure you all know, but 16 years ago today was 9/11. So, thoughts and prayers, and the people from Florida and all the people in Texas and Louisiana that have been affected by these disasters. Let's take a moment for silent prayer, and then I'll pray. Almighty God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as the school board of Caroline County to make the decisions that affect our children, their parents, and the county. And Lord, we ask that you be with them as they make their decisions, and let them be the ones that best benefit the county and the schools. And Lord, we just ask that you continue to be with those in Florida and Louisiana and Texas as they struggle to rebuild their lives after such a major disaster, and continue to be with the families and friends of all those that lost their lives in 9/11. And Lord, we just ask it all in the glorious name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
What's your name? Okay, I'll get you too. Come on down this way.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Give it free.
Good evening, Chair Carson, Vice Chair Garrett, members of the board, and Dr. Clark. Mr. Lloyd from the high school has put together a video for you all tonight about the first few moments of school opening, and I think he has well, it's all from, I think, the first day of school. So, if y'all don't mind, look behind you, the video.
spotlight goal for organizational effectiveness and objective 2, talent management, opportunities for aspiring leadership.
Good evening, Chair Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. The CCPS leadership team is proud to unveil the new strategic plan Pathways 2022 poster, which you see this evening on the left side of the stage. Each of our school buildings will receive 2 framed posters, as well as 2 being placed in each of our facility areas. We hope that everyone is able to take a close look this evening at our new vision, mission, and our core beliefs. For more information, please be sure to visit the school website where you can see the full Pathways 2022 5-year plan. We invite all of our community and stakeholders to have a strong presence throughout the 5 years of this plan in making a difference with our students. Our motto, explore today, impact tomorrow. At this time, we will begin with our first formal presentation associated with Strategic Plan Goal 4, Organizational Effectiveness.
Good evening again, Chair Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. Tonight we bring to you an overview of CCPS's opportunities for aspiring leaders. This presentation specifically covers Goal Point 2, talent management. One of our goals is to develop our opportunities for aspiring leaders in our county. In this presentation, you will be provided with our leadership growth models, leadership opportunities, and advancement pathways.
First, we will start with our leadership growth models. The 4 areas of the leadership growth model provide experiences, trainings, and exposure to leadership duties, tasks, and responsibilities to enhance the instructional leadership skills of all involved. As we begin, we have professional learning communities at each school, grades K through 12. All PLCs have facilitators, which is a very important leadership role to ensure quality instruction to drive student achievement. PLC facilitators receive extensive Year 1 and Year 2 training. Next, we have members of the instructional leadership team who are selected based on their leadership skills set as master teachers. These individuals would be the pool that we would pull from when leadership opportunities emerge here in Caroline County. Third, we have members of the school support teams who are an elite group of building leaders that are exposed to the instructional leadership duties and responsibilities to enhance their capacity to be our future instructional leaders. And finally, we have the administrative checklist process. The administrative checklist, which is the coaching model to aid our assistant principals in developing the skills that needed to perform the duties of the building principal. Key areas include instructional leadership, human resource management, and student academic progress. As we move to the next slide, we have teacher leadership. Here are some of the opportunities for teacher leaders in each of our buildings. These would be a pathway to higher leadership opportunities for all of our aspiring leaders. As you can see, we have content liaisons, digital champions, grade level and department chairs, national board certified teachers, professional development presenters, teacher job fair recruiters, superintendent's advisory committee, and principal's advisory committee, and peer and mentor support teachers. All of these positions are important teacher leader roles in each of our 5 buildings that enhance the overall school program.
Caroline County Schools provides various leadership opportunities as a stepping stone to advanced leadership positions. Some positions and opportunities include department coordinators, instructional specialists, administrative aides at the high school, school improvement specialists, summer school administrator, ITRTs, which are our instructional technology resource teachers, reading and math coaches and specialists, And the central office team will conduct mock interviews with our Teacher of the Year candidate to enhance their interviewing skills and to ensure that they are competitive and prepared on the state and national level. As far as aspiring leaders, one of our goals is to ensure that our internal aspiring administrators have the opportunity, experiences, and the training to be viable candidates for administrative openings in our division. The goal is to grow our own through providing opportunities to share our current building leaders. Those teacher leaders working on their administrative endorsement would be allowed to complete their internship hours with one of our building principals, which would give us the opportunity to observe their leadership potential and coach them in their areas of growth. Additionally, all internal candidates will be granted an interview for any position that they are qualified.
As we move to our next slide, you can see that next we have the participation in the enhanced interview process. Our potential teacher leaders build human resource management capacity by participating in our enhanced interview process. The leadership tasks that they perform include serving on recruiting teams, screening potential candidates, participating on interview panels, and consulting with building principals to hire highly qualified staff. Teacher leaders are provided the opportunity to attend recruiting, job fairs, to serve as ambassadors for Caroline County Public Schools, with the goal of bringing the best teacher talent to Caroline County. Next steps, growing our own. As we expand our leadership opportunities with the goals of our strategic plan, Pathway 2022, the leadership team will explore, one, a hybrid administrative intern position where the aspiring leader would have teaching and administrative duties. Two, we would like to adopt a leadership academy consisting of a small cohort of individuals who possess strong instructional leadership potential. Provide aspiring leaders with outside resources and exposure to leadership organizations to acquire best practice in all areas of instructional leadership. Three, identify teacher leaders who currently have an administrative endorsement and provide opportunities based on their leadership aspirations. Four, identify and recognize effective building leadership through principal and assistant principal of the year nominations, starting on the local level and moving onward and upward to the state and national levels. Five, partnering with Grand Canyon University to support advanced degrees. And we'd like to give Mr. Dennis Wilson a special thanks for supporting these efforts currently with our teacher leaders. And six, we want to grow our own to identify future teacher leaders. We are still enrolled actually at Caroline High School by exploring the possibility of adding the Teachers for Tomorrow program. And last but not least, the central office building principal leaders will look for administrative shadowing opportunities and provide mock interview coaching to give our potential leaders exposure to the day-to-day experiences of our current building principals. And at this time, do you all have any questions or comments?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this time, we will start with awards, recognitions, and commendations, and we will have our faculty presentation with Dr. Joey Jones, Mrs. Judd, and Ms. Smith.
I appreciate the doctorate. At this time, Chair Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, and Dr. Parker, it gives me great pleasure to recognize these two young ladies who went and participated into South Korea, and they will tell you more about their trip and the curriculum experiences that they had. And we thank you for supporting this event. I'm Ms. Judd, and this is Ms. Gibson beside me. And we had the opportunity, part of your help, which we thank you very much for, to go to South Korea. We went through the
actually 2 agencies helped us go. We went through the Ministry of Patriots and Veteran Affairs from South Korea, and also from the Digital History Project, which was our main way to go for Dr. Han. So, all right, this is us at the Peace Camp for Teachers in Seoul, Korea.
Day one, it was warm, so sorry for the shorts, I know they're not school appropriate. This is a picture of us at the, with North Korea behind us. So you are all currently looking into North Korea. Sorry we didn't get Kim Jong-un in the picture. He was not very photogenic that day. But that is North Korea behind us. We are at Panmunjom, which is the DMZ military zone. Ms. Jed did not have taken the picture, sorry. But she didn't want to be identified by the North Koreans in case they were looking at us. Because we are standing in North Korea at this moment. So we are in the main building at Panmunjom where the UN meetings take place, where they actually sign the armistice meetings take place. And on one half of the table is North Korea, and on the other half of the table is the United States, or South Korean side, free side. So when we were led into the room, I of course was like, I have to be on the North Korean side. What else do you have to say in North Korea? There weren't that many North Koreans out. I think our next picture has our North Korean. No, that's the other teacher, just kind of just me playing around. You can see the MPs there in the background and on the side. If you walk too close to them, they armbar you. And one teacher didn't pay attention and got armbarred. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of laughed a little. And this is our one and only North Korean soldier friend. They only had one watching us, and he got camera shy at some points. So I was really excited that I got a picture of front face of him. But they only had one guard out at the time. Normally how they position themselves is they have two guards watching each other, and then one guard watching the north if they have a tour coming through from the North Korean side, but they didn't have a tour, so they only had one guard out. But he is one of their more well-fed. You'll see how tiny he is compared to a South Korean soldier. All the way up to Panmunjom, we noticed out the side of the bus windows that the entirety of South Korea has barbed wire around the river, preventing, and on the highways and things. And these are guard towers, and a few of the guard towers actually have guards in them, armed with machine guns and all kinds of things, just in case of any type of attack or threat from North Korea.
This is one of our cultural experiences. They took us, after we went to the DMZ, they took us to a Buddhist temple. And we had to dress in monk clothes. And we had to have a complete monk experience, which meant we slept on the floor. And we got up and had a breakfast with absolutely no spices because they wanted it to be like 4th century eating. We had to wake up, we had to be in the temple for morning vows at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. We had to be up in the temple for morning prayers.
So pardon our disheveled look, this was at about 4:30 in the morning, the sun was starting to rise, so yes, that is exhausted faces.
After that, we went to Busan, and these two gentlemen right here, I would guess they're about middle schoolers. They came up to us. The students there were constantly coming up wanting to practice their English. And their English is very good. All the children in Korea have to take English. It's mandatory. And they start in elementary school. So these young gentlemen came up, and they were very polite. They wanted to come up and practice their English with all the American teachers there.
And that gentleman in the blue is Dr. Han. He is one of the sponsors of the Korean War Digital Archives Online. He's a professor at the Syracuse University, and he is I like to call him a friend of ours. He's been a big advocate for the garden. He's come down, and he's been asking us to come to the national conference that he sponsored for the past 3 years. So he's a great man.
This is Busan, and I don't know if you can tell, but everybody in Korea is very covered. you didn't see any bellies or any cleavage or anything in Korea. Everybody was very covered up, very modest. They're very modest people.
So that was also the Busan perimeter. A lot of people, the B's and P's get confused in Korean translations. So Busan is the Pusan perimeter, which of course is where we were forced to a very small section of South Korea after the North Koreans invaded in the summer of 1950. This picture here is of the UN cemetery there in Busan. America has a very small population of soldiers buried there because the vast majority of our families did decide to have their remains repatriated back to the United States and buried with your family. So there's only about 19 American soldiers buried in that UN cemetery, but there are UN members from Australia, Turkey, Greece, the United States, obviously, Canada, all had representation there, and the South Koreans take very, very good care of our fallen.
This was actually the armistice ceremony that day that we were at, and it was very well attended. In fact, I got to shake the hand of the Prime Minister of South Korea. And at the UN, it was represented by all 21 countries. The Koreans every year invite the veterans that fought in the Korean War back to Korea, pay for their hotel, food, and everything, and have them come back to the ceremony to thank them for what they've done. They're very grateful people.
And we actually had VIP seating as well on the floor next to the veterans, so we kind of felt important. And then after the ceremony, they fed us very well over there. This was the Korean barbecue. This was an interesting experience because it cooked on your table right in front of you. That pot right there, do not touch it, you will lose your fingertips. I learned that the hard way. It is very, very hot, full of hot coals, but the beef there cooks in front of you. And we were spoiled rotten with our meals. I swear I gained a ton of poundage before I came back.
That's the famous Korean bulgogi right there.
Yeah. Korean barbecue bulgogi. Barbecue is an easy way for it to say. And then Thursday night of the week after the big ceremony in the morning, we had a fancy dinner. And we were actually seated with a multitude of different Korean soldiers. And the gentleman in the jacket on my side with the black jacket and the white shirt, he's actually a soldier as well, but he was press corps, so he didn't have to be in full uniform. But they spoke very good English. And the gentleman that I sat with, one of them actually studied here in the United States for 6 months when his father was stationed here as part of the U.S., as part of the Korean government. I asked him where he was living. He's like, oh, Columbus, Ohio. I go, you chose Columbus, Ohio out of all the places? He's like, yeah, it's great. I was like, okay, all right. I'm from Ohio originally, so. And then this was a cool picture because anywhere in Seoul, South Korea, anything that's underground, be it an underground museum, a tunnel station, a subway station, it is a fallout shelter. They can evacuate the entirety of the city within a matter of 5 minutes if North Korea sends a missile over towards South Korea, towards Seoul. So everywhere you go, if you're underground, you'll see that shelter sign, and they can house basically the entirety of the population of Seoul. So we always felt safe, for sure, just in case of the North Koreans wanting to launch. Miss Judge and I put this in there, but you can't go to an Asian country and not experience karaoke. So we did go to a karaoke bar. It was kind of interesting because we were the only people in the karaoke bar. And it was a group of about 8 of us teachers, and you know how teachers can be. We were kind of loud and obnoxious, and it was great. The gentleman who owned it, we paid for our hour of karaoke, and apparently we were doing so well that he actually gave us like an additional 45 minutes for free. So we got to experience our karaoke. Clearly, Miss Joan is having a good time. She was very focused on singing those songs. And this is a picture that I definitely am going to be using some of these in my teaching this year. So if any of my students are here, don't look. But this is Incheon. We flew in and out of Incheon, and this was a really good image as to why the Incheon landings were so incredibly difficult. Because this is at low tide, and this was when MacArthur decided to make he's like, you know what, let's do it low tide, let's roll. And this is the challenges that the soldiers, U.S. Army and Marines, faced when they were landing at Incheon. You can see the mountainous background and the low tide and the bogs and the marsh and everything that they had to go through to make their landing, to start the freedom of South Korea. And of course, even South Korea's soul was sad to see us go, so they said goodbye. I can speak Korean, by the way, that says goodbye, in case you're wondering. Thank you.
At this time, we'll have Mr. Honan with the recognition of the custodial staff for custodians.
Good evening, Chairman Carson, Ms. Harris, members of the board, Dr. Parker. I also have a little bit of video presentations and narrative to go along with it. As you know, summer is always a busy time for custodians. This is the fourth year now that I've been involved, fifth year that I've been involved with custodians here at Caroline. And I thought my first year was a challenge when we tried to move Bowling Green Elementary School in the day before school opened. And well, the school tractor trailer was the school furniture in basically over a weekend. And I didn't think nothing would ever beat that, but boy was I wrong. The slides are just showing some of the typical things that the custodians run into while they're cleaning. These images all happen to be at the high school, but you can pretty much read any school into these pictures, because it's pretty much the same kind of thing happens at every one of our schools. So, with a possible exception of the construction. This year, approximately about a month before school started, we were having a meeting with the construction leadership for the high school, and they indicated that the school division was blocking, creating bottlenecks for them to finish the renovation. We were moving furniture out of the rooms. We had the hallways tied up with furniture and things, and the custodians, they're doing what we needed to do. We had to move furniture out of the rooms. We had to have someplace to put it. Typically, we put it in the hallway. This year, we needed to get it out of the hallway. So I gathered the custodial team together, and I told them what the challenge was. And as usual, they rose to the challenge. I think we had furniture stored everywhere. I know some of the CTE labs were stocked with furniture. We had furniture outside under the canopies. We had covered up with tarps. We had furniture just about everywhere. And in following up with the construction company after a few days, they were amazed at how we were able to then keep out of their way. We had daily communications with them as far as what spaces they needed and where they needed to be able to work, because they were trying to finish the hallways, put ceilings back in, ductwork and piping and everything going in the ceiling, and then as well as trying to put the ceilings back together with light fixtures and other things in order to have school ready in time. And if I heard it once from them, I heard it from a number of times about how that was a hard-working crew. But I would like to call out Joyce Childs, who I know is hiding in the back. Come here, Joyce. Joyce provided the leadership to keep this team organized and going, while she was also keeping track of what 4 other schools were doing to keep them on task so that they were ready and ready to open on time. So Joyce, I'd just like to say thank you for the hard work that you did in leading this crew. It was obviously a team effort, but it took somebody to keep them organized, and you certainly did a whale of a job of doing it. So I'd like to thank you. All right, I think that's the end of my presentation. So if you have any questions, happy to.
Thank you for all the hard work, not just you and Joyce, but everyone.
Well, it was definitely a team effort. Like I said, if you see the pictures, there's other, lots of other folks. And like I said, these happen to be pictures of the high school, but the same types of activities, as most of you know, was going on in every one of the schools. And the definitely is a team effort to get all this stuff done, so, thank you.
We're lucky to have all these good people working with us.
You
Thank
certainly
you very
are.
much. And now we're going to move on to the recognition of the summer food program and backpack program with Dr. Monroe.
Madam Chair Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, Dr. Park. Tonight, Caroline School Board, Central Office team, school leaders, teachers, parents, and students would like to recognize and thank the numerous pastors, church congregations, and the Reed Creek Ruritan Club for their gift of time, donations, and efforts in making the summer feed and elementary backpack drive a huge success. First, let me start with the summer feed program. The Summer Feed program was a mission to ensure families in need were provided food during the summer months when school breakfast and lunch are not an option. This joint effort led to the distribution of over 1,380 two-day food bags to over 50 families in the school district. Special thanks to Pastor Mark Burns and others. And I would like to read these organizations that assisted with that effort. Again, special thanks to Pastor Mark Lawrence, Pastor St. Paul's United Methodist Church, and Mount Vernon United Methodist Church, Frog Level, and Carmel Church in the Glen area. Reverend Chris Watson, Pastor Rehoboth United Methodist Church, Reverend Lou Woolner, Pastor Hobo United Methodist Church, Woodford area. Pam Smith and her husband Ken Smith, lay leaders in the Shiloh United Methodist Church, Bowling Green area. Leslie Green, deacon, and Reverend Marvin L. Gilliam Jr., pastor at Mount Onai Baptist Church in Carmel Church area of New Glen. And again, the Reed Creek Ruritan Club for their generous donations. Also tonight, this evening, we also have Pastor Rick Nicely representing the Spotwood at Lady Smith Church. As we all know, a big part of school and learning requires supplies that every student needs so they can build on those fundamentals. But the reality is that not all families have the resources to provide their kids with those necessities. This is where the community can help and should help. A new church in Caroline County called Spotwood at Ladysmith provided nearly 300 backpacks loaded with all of the necessary school supplies for students at Madison Elementary, Bowling Green Elementary, and Lewis and Clark Elementary schools. They also provided a carnival-type atmosphere for the kids and their families when they arrived to pick up their backpacks, which included moon bounce inflatables, face painting, crafts, small games, popcorn, and snow cones. This was a huge hit with the kids and families. The team from Spotswood at Ladysmith found great joy in serving the families at each of the elementary schools and hopes to continue their partnership with Caroline County Public Schools. At this time, can we give these community partners and spiritual leaders a big round of applause as a way to say thank you. We would also like to have all of us stand up. So, Mark Lawrence and all of the folks that I called, would you please stand? And I believe Mr. Rick Nicely is also in the audience. So can all of you come up front, please, so we can take a picture? And can we give them one more round of applause?
There we go. Let's smile right here, please. One more time, please.
Thank you all. I can then move it up again. This time, we're going to have recognition of elementary students.
Nice talking with you, my friend.
600 on SLO.
Thank you. Madam Chair Carson, Vice Chair Harris, and the board, Dr. Parker. It's a plum and pleasure to recognize these patient young students who have done such a great job this evening at our board meeting. But it is recommended that the school board recognize the students from Bowling Green Elementary School, Madison Elementary School, and Wilson Park Elementary School who scored a perfect 600 on their SOL test. Yeah, a score of 600 is a perfect score on an SOL test. We are pleased to recognize the students, as we said, from all three of our elementary schools for their achievement in the SOL test, which were administered in grades 3, 4, and 5 from the 2016-17 school year. And we wish them the best of luck this upcoming school year, and we know that they will continue to achieve. Students, when I call your name, you're going to come to the stage. And I would like to ask Mrs. Sims to come down. And can we give Calandra Sims a round of applause for preparing all these participants? At this time, we're going to start with our third graders. Tonight we have Riley Forehand, Addison James, Jaden Puckett, Archie Roberts Jr., and Abigail Swam. Those are our third graders. Next, moving to fourth grade, we have Austin Carter, William Casey, Sydney Davis, Cassidy Kiger, Evelyn Rodriguez, Salem Sanders, Michael Schott, Jordan Summers, Baylor Stork, Jesse Taylor. Fifth graders we have this evening are Amber Carter, Ann Dugan, Marcus Farrow, Marcus Hale, Michael Hayden, Layana Hayes, Dakota Parker. If there are any other students that came in that scored a perfect 600, could you come to the podium, please, so I can call your name? We have Charles Moran. We have Tanner Beal. And we have Grace Nicolole. We also have Kamaya Jackson, who is here this evening. We also have Layana Hayes.
also wanted to have our elementary principals, if they're still here, to come on down, please. Can we give our elementary principals a big round of applause? Miss R, she had to leave. She had to take care of her son this evening, so Miss R had to leave.
All right. Everyone look at me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll keep your cameras down for me, let me get a couple of pictures and I'll hold them and let you get pictures. Everyone look at me. Big smile. Keep looking. Big smile. Come on, look at me back here. So God made me pretty. There you go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to take a picture before we release them to the stage? Five, four.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations, good job.
When we transferred out today, so that was good. 9 o'clock.
Congratulations, guys, good job.
Hey, how do those pictures come out?
They come out good.
Did they get distributed? Or?
You can contact Deborah Holt.
Okay,
and
great.
she'll have them. She can send you an email, your contact.
Great, thank you so much.
You're certainly welcome. How are you? Good to see you. Probably the movie.
Probably because they went to.
Good job, guys. Good job. Congratulations.
7th now, but when he was in 5th grade, they got to go to Kingston anyway.
You don't have to. Congratulations.
No, I
guys.
mean
Good
like the
job.
school thing.
Oh, okay.
I know the parents are
I know, I
just
said
proud.
thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, parents. Great job.
Thank you.
Good seeing you. How you doing?
Hey, honey, I'm right there.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, Dr. Parker. September will mark the 5th annual Attendance Awareness Month campaign, an opportunity to rally our community, advocates, policymakers, volunteers, funders, and supporters around the importance of attendance and its role in academic achievement. The campaign is spearheaded by Attendance Works, a national and state initiative that promotes better policy and practice around school attendance. Research shows that missing as little as 2 days every month or 10% of the school year, is considered chronic absenteeism. Missing school can translate into third graders unable to master reading, sixth graders failing courses, and ultimately teens dropping out of high school. Dr. Parker, the school board office team, principals, and school counselors will make improving attendance a priority, not only in September, but throughout the entire school year. Each school has a plethora of incentives, presentations, and guidance lessons for students and families on how improved attendance can drive academic success. CCPS would like to thank Paul Gearing, who's the Executive Director of the Caroline County Family YMCA, for partnering with us for Attendance Awareness Month by awarding 2 free weeks in October for students who have perfect attendance in September. The goal is to educate schools and communities and mobilize them to help promote the importance and value of good attendance, and I am proud to say that Caroline is taking the necessary steps towards reducing chronic absenteeism. So we will celebrate Attendance Awareness Month during the month of October 2017. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Calvera, recognition of National Hispanic Latino Heritage Month.
Before I begin, I would like to invite our World Languages Content Liaison, Idelise Dominguez, to the podium. National Hispanic Heritage Month is an opportunity to learn about and celebrate the culture, heritage, and contributions of Hispanic and Latino Americans who have positively influenced and enriched our country. Latino Americans have had a profound and positive influence on our community through strong commitments to family, faith, work, and service. We encourage our schools to observe this month by reading books, providing engaging activities, and having ceremonies and programs. It is recommended that the board recognize September 15th to October 15th as National Hispanic Heritage Month. Ms. Dominguez.
Good evening. As the World Language Liaison, what we're working on is for October 26th, we're going to have a folkloric event here in Caroline Middle School. All Spanish students in both the high school and the middle school have received an invitation to the event. It is open to the entire community. It will be at 7 p.m. And I also am handing out to the administrators, I'll be sending those out via email today, so that if we could please have a flyer be sent to home with the interims as well, so that we can continue to voice. It is a folkloric event that will be hosted by La Iniciativa Folclórica Costarricense. This is a particular team that does folkloric dancing. They do go to Maryland, Washington, D.C., and neighboring states with their folkloric dance. But we are truly blessed that they're actually, the director of the group is from Caroline County, and she is then going to be hosting this event, along with the Ladysmith Congregation Multicultural Church, who will also be hosting this event. So we are trying our hardest to bring into Caroline Middle School how the Hispanic culture is influencing our very community. And I also, with that, I am working hand in hand with the high school world teachers so that we can improve communication and hopefully we can make our program grow bigger and bigger. Thank you.
At this time, if there are any citizens' comments,
Madam Chair, there are no citizens' comments.
is there anyone that would like to make a comment? If you would just state your name, sir, and your district.
Hi, my name is Mark Farrell. I'm Chairman, Superintendent of the Board. My district is Madison. Clay is my superintendent, or my supervisor. I just want to take a brief second, moment to thank all of you for everything you do. I don't get a chance to be here that often, and seeing all of you do, and knowing that it goes on, but not, seeing it every day, and makes me even more thankful when I come here and I see the hard work that's going into Central education. You know, I listened to everything about the middle school. We had saved up and were prepared to do private school, and we have been nothing but impressed. And you know, just blown away, you know, with Caroline Middle. My expectations weren't that high, and if they had been, they would have been surpassed. Responsiveness, just the level of education that he's getting. You know, I'm boning up on my algebra, and I will tell you that I'm on the chairman of the Virginia Service Foundation. I'm on the Governor's Advisory Board for Community Service, several other boards. I work for the Attorney General of Virginia, so it doesn't come lightly when I take a moment to stop and say thank you for all that you do, not just here, but in the community. I see all of you at different places, at games and supermarkets and volunteering, and you know, I really appreciate that as a citizen and as a parent, and I just want to take a moment to say thanks. And your support of the Caroline County Youth Football League. We have 300 parents, all volunteer, nonprofit. It's, you know, we're there to teach respect for the community, for authority, reverence, commitment to our schools. So hopefully when they come back for 7th grade middle school football or for high school, they're ready for that level of commitment to their education and to the sports here. So just thank you. Sorry it took more than 3 minutes, but I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Sure.
Thank you very much.
At this time, we're going to move on to the consent agenda for the approval of minutes, the school board workshop on August 15th, the regular meeting on August 14th, the approval of monthly bills and financial reports, vendor payments, budget status report, approval of religious exempt requests, on school requests.
Madam Chairman, for approval of the consent agenda.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Spalding.
Aye.
Ms. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Copeland.
Aye.
Ms. Carson.
Aye, motion carried. Thank you. At this time, we will move ahead for approval of property and casualty insurance renewal for 2017-18 with Mr. Martin.
Evening, Chairman Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, Dr. Parker. The first agenda item I have in front of me is the approval of property casualty insurance renewal with Baycorp. Normally this is done about a month in the August meeting, but they're in the middle of a project where over 3 years they're going to complete a complete re-evaluation of all our buildings and content. So they got a good section of that done this year. It's reflected in the updated rates. As I noted on my lead-in, that the premium for 17-18 is up $5,889 over 16-17. That's really not due to claims experience. It's due to continuing the process of updating our fleet of buses, and reflects the increased valuation of our real estate and the investments that we've made at the middle school and at the high school. So I'm here to ask for your approval to continue our relationship with Baycorp. They're a great partner that take very good care of us, and they're extremely responsive to our needs.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the
Second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Copeland.
Aye.
Ms. Harris. Mr. Spalding.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Carson.
Motion carried, thank you. And Mr. Martin, you're still up with us for the 2017-18 tuition rates.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here to ask the board to approve the tuition rates for the 2017-2018 fiscal year for out-of-county tuition rates at $3,935, and for out-of-state tuition rates at $10,148. And just so the board knows, these numbers just kind of guess or pulled out of thin air. Just for your information, that the out-of-county tuition is the same as our per pupil funding for local fund. Once we have a budget, we know how much we as a county are going to pay. We can divide that by the estimated number of students. So we figure that's our cost in local dollars to educate every additional child that comes in. We would still get the state money, okay, if they were a resident of Virginia. So we don't need to build in any component to that. For out-of-state students, we would not be getting state money. We wouldn't be getting the sales tax money. And so that's really the sales tax, the state funding, and the local share of our per pupil expenditures. That's how we arrive at those numbers.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the 2017-2018 tuition rates.
Second. Is there any discussion? I have one question. How many currently do we have out of county for tuition? Do you have roughly an idea?
I don't. We got that. As far as I know.
Madam Chair, I think we do have employees, not out of state, but out of county, who have the option of bringing students here for their education. We can get a tally of how many of our employees actually take advantage of that opportunity. They don't have to pay tuition.
Right, but that's tuition for, that's right.
Yeah, I was just curious, ones who were attending.
Yes, see, you might know that. I only get excited when I see mine.
I was just curious how many were attending that. All right, call for the vote, please.
Mr. Spalding.
Aye.
Mrs. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Copeland.
Aye.
Mr. Curry.
Aye.
Mrs. Carson.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you're still up for one more. Approval for appropriation of Anthem escrow.
I gave my Parsons.
In front.
There's a gentleman sitting to your right that's going to speak to this.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Madam Chair, it was brought to our attention last year that we have, that as our previous policy with Anthem expired, we still had monies left into the Anthem escrow for existing claims, under that dated policy. Those monies will be released. Anthem will not necessarily be our bank for us and hold on to funds that were left in that account. And we are requesting that we are allowed to appropriate from the county the amount of $355,992.79. This is the remaining money that's left in the Anthem escrow insurance policy for existing claims. And that policy will expire in October of this year. With approval of the board, we have a spending plan that's attached to that, that's on the sheet following the summary, which calls for those funds to be allocated in the following manner for a salary study of the county's employees. I feel that this is a necessity, one, in that the county just completed a salary study for their employees and will use that information to develop a salaries for their employees and adjustments for salaries for their employees. And it would behoove the school division to do the same as we continue to negotiate and work with the county in developing a comparable salary scale and pay schedule for our employees. The other areas lie in the area of allocating some money for the high school renovation in the amount of $61,000. That is the most recent estimate for completing the staining of the existing structure, exterior of the high school. That will be everywhere, first level and second level. So the entire level will be consistent. And I think that's a fairly good price for the amount of work that's going to be done there. The other items include, I need to put the glasses here, pretty small print here, really. Continuing to replace existing Epson Bright Links, and particularly the high school, we added a lot of classrooms, but we still have technology that needs to go in those classrooms. And we've been in the process of getting the new Epson Brightleys for that renovation, and also for some replacing some aging technology in some of our classrooms in the amount of $33,000. Setting aside $200,000 for an anticipated increase in health insurance this year. This will be the year. We've done pretty good with health insurance in the past, and have really benefited from changing to local choice. However, we are due to see an increase in FY19 of health insurance, and we'd like to go ahead and plan for that. So by setting aside $200,000 of this money, because each month is for that potential increase. Additionally, our rainy day fund continuing to add money in the amount of $27,000 for our rainy day fund in case of emergencies. We would have monies available for to take care of capital improvement needs in the case of some equipment failure. And the last item is pretty under our strategic plan. Area 4 is health and wellness. And it was brought to my attention that we have a significant number of our employees who are non-insured by the division. They do not receive EAP services, Employee Assistance Program services, which means that's mental health counseling, financial, marital, any other area, drug abuse. So we would like to, for that low price of $4,500, we would like to make our non-insured employees eligible. For $4,600 eligible for EAP. And I think that's in line with our strategic goals of making sure that we improve health and wellness for not only our students, but also our employees.
Madam Chair. All right. Move we approve the request for appropriation of anthems escrow in the amount of $355,992.79.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call for the vote.
Mr. Spalding.
Aye.
Mr. Copeland.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mrs. Harris. Mrs. Carson.
Aye. Thank you. Next, we will have the approval of payments related to the CHS renovation project.
Was it something I said earlier? Good evening. Madam Chairman, Ms. Harris, members of the board, Dr. Parker. I'm here tonight seeking approval for payments related to the CHS renovation project. We have Southwood for the amount of $230,530.01 for the PR, $10,000. Basis for the amount of $10,000. Old Mini, $136.51. Martin Marietta, $16,240.18. Honeywell, $32,260. ECS, $1,922.26. Capital Tri-State, $10,290. And 49 for $4,586.40.
Could you repeat the total for Southwood one more time, Mr.
235,30.01.
The amount we have here is $476,103.08. I think that's the.
I'm sorry, I got the whole lead in, you were, that was the only change.
That figure was changed to take care of the percentage of the retainage that we had indicated in August will be returned to Southwood.
Sorry.
And I will repeat the total, just to make sure we're on the same page. I will repeat the new total with that figure added in was $561,538.43. And Madam Chair, we added in my office on those correct.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the payment from the CHS construction project. Any discussion? No. Call for the vote.
Mrs. Harris. Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Spalding.
Aye.
Mr. Copeland.
Aye.
Mrs. Carson.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. At this time, Mr. Honan, MES renovation.
I think think I can get this one right. We've made some progress with the contractor over there. He's done, I'll get to it later in my report, but, on construction project, but there has been, he's turned in a lot of his paperwork as far as the warranty work, the as-built, things like that. So we are seeing some progress. He replaced all the topsoil in the schools, so we can get real grass growing. There's still a couple of things he needs to do, but we've gotten a commitment from him to get all of that done. So with that, I'd like to get approval of paying for, I think he turned in this actual pay request back in December, if I'm not mistaken. So it's for $62,765.55.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of payments related to MES construction project amount of $62,765.55.
Second.
The motion's been made, is there any discussion?
I just want to know how long it's going to take it to complete it.
We're hopeful that by the time I see you again, we'll be here with the final numbers.
Everything should be completed.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the final payment?
No. This is only, I'm prepared to give you a financial recap along with my construction update, so.
Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Spalding.
Aye.
Mrs. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Copeland.
Aye.
Mrs. Carson.
Aye, motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Calvera, the first read of policy FFA naming school facilities.
Good evening, Madam Chair Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, and Dr. Parker. I return to the podium this evening to share with you recommended changes to policy FFA, naming school facilities. As outlined in your packet, there is a brief addition to the policy which provides the opportunity for certain facilities within a school building to be named in honor of an individual who has made significant contributions to the school community. This individual may be living or deceased. However, he or she must be separated from the related position or employment with CCPS for 5 or more years. Additionally, no school will be named for a living individual. Are there any questions associated with the first read of policy FFA? Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Lindsay with the first reading of VSBA policy IGBF English learners.
Good evening. Good evening, Chair Carson, Vice Chair Ms. Harris, members of the board, Dr. Parker. This is an update or first reading for VSBA policy IGPF for English learners. This revision is changes in state and federal laws, regulations, and guidelines. I have attached a copy for your review. And one of the changes that, if you look down at bullet number 6, it talks about making sure that we put information about high school, including four-year adjusted cohort graduation rates. And then on the second page, it talks about language. They want to use more about language instructional education program for our English learners.
Thank you very much. Now, Ms. Stevens with the VSBA board docs.
Madam Chair Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, Dr. Parker, Superintendent, wanted to present to you our first reading for the Board Docs Pro. Just a reminder, it does save time, money, and helps the board operate more effectively. It is a state-of-the-art cloud-based board management system developed specifically for public governing bodies, presented by Emerald Data Solutions and the VSBA. It will eliminate paper-based and less advanced electronic processes while maintaining a searchable legal repository for all documents. Included in your proposal that you have it before you is for Board Docs Pro and outlines the one-time startup fee of $1,000 and a VSBA Board Docs Pro document management system with an annual cost of $10,200 that includes maintenance, support, installation, training, updates, implementation, and customization for Caroline County Public Schools. There are current school divisions, there are 88 school divisions that currently use VSBA Board Docs, and the Virginia High School League Board also uses Board Docs for their board meetings. Our neighboring districts that use Board Docs include Hanover County, Fredericksburg City, Spotsylvania County, King George County, and Westmoreland County.
Thank you. Looking forward to the training and the use. Thank you very much. At this time, we move to the informational items that update on the construction projects at CHS and MES. And Randy.
Chairman Carson, Ms. Harris, members of the board, Dr. Parker. Here tonight to give you some updates on renovations at both MES and CHS. As I mentioned earlier, there's been some movement with the contractor at MES. Several weeks ago, we replaced all the topsoil around the front of the school, regraded some of the areas adjacent to the bus loop, and did some work on the detention basin. We've since had a meeting with the county soil and erosion folks, and we've come up with a game plan on what's going to take to finish all of that. A lot of it is paperwork, but there is some actual work that has to be done, particularly to the detention pond. As far as the high school is concerned, we've gotten 3 CTE labs painted that were skipped this summer as part of the presentation I made earlier about the custodians. We wound up packing most of those CTE labs with furniture to get it out of it, since there was little to be done in there other than replacing the lights, which for the most part has already been done. So we packed some of those rooms full of furniture so we could clear hallways and other areas. So those rooms were not fully painted when school started, but the contractor has since come back and gotten all those painted, with the building trades being the last one done this past weekend. In addition, we've got some additional terrazzo work done in the cafeteria. We've had all the lockers painted and the stair treads installed, as well as all the risers painted. So there is still some work that has been done. The innovation lab and the nurses lab are currently being updated, and I've actually got one much skipped over that. There's still punch list items that are being worked on. That's an ongoing thing, and they are making progress on those. We met with, in lieu of our 10 o'clock meeting today, Dr. Parker, we met with Southwood folks on site and walked through some of the issues that we've been having to try to help get those resolved. So that's what we've been doing. I have a few slides to share with you as far as to kind of give you an update on where we're at as we are tending to near the end of this project. The first slide here is this is a picture of the nurses' lab, or the nurses' classroom/lab. You're actually, where I was standing when I took the picture, that will actually be the classroom portion of the lab. The area to the left on the other side of that doorway and window area, that will be the actual lab where there will be mock head walls, beds, other appliances that the young people will experience during their nursing career, getting a chance to get hands-on training on that. The room in the background will be an additional classroom that will be available for not only for the nurses lab, but for other CTE instructors to use, right? I guess any instructors there to use, but that'd be a class. That's the former, I guess it was the IT office for a long time, but that's what's in that space.
This 85,000, that wasn't in the budget to begin with.
Now, all of this is over and above what was originally budgeted. This is part of the change that we made when we came to you back in, what was it, July, Dr. Parker?
Changes for what?
Originally, nursing was going to be in a very small classroom. This room, I think, was going to be the CAD lab, and we retasked it to become the nursing lab. So the space that nursing was going to go in was, I think, one of the F&E classrooms that were on the other side of the hallway, which was a much smaller space and was limited what they could do as far as the program.
So what are you planning on finishing?
We hope to have it finished sometime it should be significantly finished by the CTE open house on September 26th, but it'll be sometime later this fall when it's fully complete.
If I may provide you with 2 additional details that may help explain the change in plans. When doing an initial inventory of interest for the nursing program, we had over 230 students identify significant interest in nursing, which is a driving force to the creation of this new space. Additionally, when seeking a new certification in a high school, you must meet a variety of standards and qualifications. And the first space that we had identified did not meet all of the criteria, and this became the most fruitful option, especially due to the number of students that are interested in participating.
I understand that. But why wasn't this thought of before we had to go up here and kick in $85,000 more? That's my point.
This goes back to the original, the curriculum. Dr. Parker, you may want to pitch in here, but several of the curriculums involving CTE have evolved since we designed this 3 years ago. So,
my whole point is this. We had to cut out a lot of things at the beginning of this project. It seemed like every meeting, something was cut out. We couldn't afford this, we couldn't afford this. And now, all of a sudden, we're coming up with these other projects that we got to pay for. And that doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. I want the nurses to have the best. But why wasn't this thought of at the beginning? And I can think back, but I'm not going to go over them now. I got some other stuff here to talk to you guys about in a minute. But things that we cut all along because we couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford it. We didn't have money for it. And now all of a sudden, this is coming up. Where's this money going to come from?
This, Mr. Spalding, let me go ahead and respond to that question. The initial purpose space in CTE called for nursing lab, which did not meet federal state requirements to create a nursing lab. A masonry space, which we don't offer masonry, and an HVAC space, and we don't offer HVAC. Since those spaces were not used for the CTE programs that we are moving forward to offer at the high school, we had to repurpose those spaces. That was made apparent to the board a while back as we started doing an inventory of our CTE programs. Over the course of the last 2 years, we've inventoried every CTE program and identified the programs. We've done student surveys. We've visited other CTE facilities, including the Tech Center of Pennsylvania. We've partnered with Germanna to see which CTE program that we can also partner with them to offer, and that's where the masonry is coming from. And we've identified exactly what we can offer at the high school face-to-face, and then what we can partner with other entities to offer. So we have a comprehensive CTE program plan, but we have to have the spaces necessary to do that. Those spaces were repurposed with the work of the high school staff to identify what spaces we could fully utilize in this renovation so that we can move instruction forward in the building once it's renovated. At the cost that we had currently built into the program, there were monies in those spaces for repurposing those spaces for programs that we do not offer. So when we planned the space, we received a credit back from Southwood for the work that's being done here. So it's not 100% additional cost. There's still cost in that room for renovations, but in addition to the things that need to be done to make it a fully functional nursing lab, that's where the additional cost that you see there is included. So there was money in the renovation for renovating that space. It's just now purposed for another program. And that's where you'll see your additional costs. Where the monies for those renovations come from, we have change orders that we knew we would have to approve for some of the additional things that we have added into the project. Most of those will come from the escrow as part of our approval from those change orders. And Mr. Holman, in this report, will give you a full update on the budget for the project and the use of those escrow monies for take care of the change orders. But we have to use the space that we have for the programs for not only today, but for tomorrow. And that's what we were trying to do in terms of repurposing those spaces. This nursing program meets all the requirements necessary to get that program certified. We can't offer it without the state support. We have to put in an application this year and have to meet their requirements. So that's where we are with CTE, and I'll be happy to give the board an update on where we are with all of our CTE programs in the near future.
No, go ahead. Oh, I know, but I was going to let him finish this up.
The next area that we've created is the innovation lab. You can see the cost to complete that is $113,817.26. And again, where you're standing is, this would be the open area, the area where the walls are being reworked, windows in, that would be sort of the hardware machine room. There'll be tools, welders, jigsaws, different types of material, manipulating equipment in there, drill presses, things like that. On the far end will be a room dedicated for a 3D printer, and across the hall from that, support room for that. There's some other spaces there. To the right of the picture is a conference room that's put in where the students can collaborate and come up with projects, have the projects presented to their instructors or to the innovation curriculum team, and then there'll be a video wall where they can show that being developed with sort of like a CAD system where they can develop that, and then once they get a design approved, they can use the equipment I talked about earlier to construct these devices. There'll be storage space. Additionally, there'll be storage space for students to store the project between class periods and things like that. So the bulk of this area out here would be sort of like a workroom, where they can be assembling and working on the various projects. All right. The next area is the Caroline High renovations. As you can see, the total budget was $1,581,639.45. We've had a code of construction-driven change orders amounting to $362,189.31. Owner requested change orders, $374,586.96, with a total spent to date of $20,115,108.65. Cost remaining about $852,931, and final project should be somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,968,040.32. Madison, the initial budget was $4,601,246.41. Again, the construction-driven change orders, $189,723.37. Owner requested change orders. While it's a negative number, there were a number of owner requested change orders, expansion of the faculty parking lot, additional stair treads, additional stair railings, some stoops that were placed around various parts of the building, egress, but we took away quite a large item from the contractor, self-performed it, which was the intercom system for the building, so that created a negative number there. And again, spent to date is $4,581,378.21. $121,000 remaining with a final estimated cost of $4,702,433.22.
Questions?
Yes.
Let's stay with the CTE program. Dr. Parker's already told me some things that, I don't know what's on your punch list or whatever, but I know what I've seen. I've been down there and I've gone through that building and I've looked at things and so forth and all. And some things, the work is just shocking. Let's go to the CTE program. Why? You've got these large doors, I understand that. But you know, those kids are going to be down there during hot weather. What are they going to do about air conditioning in there? You know, two particular CTE rooms, or maybe all of them. I only went in two.
There currently are 3 CTE rooms that do not have air conditioning. Building trades, automotive, and agriculture.
Oh, that's, okay, that's the 3 I went in.
We are evaluating some different systems. You voted last month or the month before to give us funds to air condition those 3 spaces, and we are working towards that. In fact, I had a meeting, Randy's team is working on some evaluating ways we can put that air conditioning in. Those spaces will be air conditioned.
All right, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, because those kids deserve it down there. But in the offices down there, what kind of work is that? Looks like something I would do. I would install something like that. I mean, have you looked at them lately?
The service just in there today.
And you approve those pipes hanging down? You go into the office, you can hang meat in there, it's so cold. But you go out into the classroom area.
We're still doing what's called test and balancing, which is the contractor comes in, has a special team come in and balance the airflow into those different spaces just to prevent what you're talking about. But those spaces are still being evaluated.
All right. How about the fans? How come the teachers can't control those fans down there?
Originally, the design was to temper the air in those spaces that we mentioned that aren't receiving air conditioning. There would be thermostats that would control those exhaust fans so when the temperature rose in those areas, it would exhaust that warm air out of there. Since we're moving towards air conditioning those spaces, we're now putting switches in to allow the instructors to operate those fans when they're doing tasks that would require ventilation.
Okay, I have a question. When you say the CTE and air, did you check into the cost of the chillers to see which would be more cost effective?
Yes, ma'am. That's what we're evaluating right now. Yes, ma'am.
3 different systems.
We're looking right now currently at 3 different systems.
All right, stay with the CTE. Chef Jazz's room down there, where they had that little, when they used to use it for the little kids and so forth, and all, they had that little bathroom, they took all that mess out. But they left the flooring in, they left the tile on the floor, it's unsightly. They weren't planning on doing anything with that? As soon as you walk in the door, you look to your right, it's right there.
I actually have not been in there. Last time I was here, it was furniture there, so I'll have to go back and look at that.
Well, one of the CTE program, or teachers brought in, put a big old piece of board up there, and that even looks just as bad.
Right.
And then you go on down to the office that's being used by the Germana Career. That was an old bathroom too. You walk in there and and there's tile all the way up to the ceiling. It looks like you're working in a shower. I mean, these are just unsightly things that, if I was the contractor, I'd say, well, we have to do this, we have to replace this, make it look halfway decent. I mean, that's, to me, would be just common sense.
We'll go back and look at those spaces. I know that we generated a punch list for it, and there was such a rush to move in that I have not seen all those spaces, so we'll go back and look at those. But I know the work is not 100% complete.
Now, how about the doors all through the building? They're beat up, are we gonna do anything with those efforts or what?
We had a meeting with, just last Thursday, we had a meeting with the contractor, the painting contractor, and we went back and showed them where we were not happy with those doors, and we're gonna come back and paint those again.
And when you walk in from the new section, the new hallway there, and you enter into the old section, where they've taken that stuff out, it looks like you're walking into a cave, because it's all roughed up. I know it's been painted over, but could they have put something over there, some edging, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's the areas where the expansion from the covers are going to be placed. It's like an aluminum cover that we've been talking to the contractor about different options to address that. But I think right now there's a caulk joint that's probably 2 or 3 inches thick right there. So we're looking at that also.
Okay. How about the furniture and the trophy case out there? Have they been ordered and ready to roll?
Those items are on order. I don't know, Mr. Spalding, do you have a date for delivery of those items? The office furniture or the trophy cases? We know they're on order.
Yeah, the office furniture will be some, I think it's sometime late October, and then the trophy cases, I don't have a good answer for that, because the contractor that the cabinet shop that I was using to work on those, Karen went out of business on me, and I don't have a date or replacement contractor for those.
In other words, we don't have it.
We're going to have some, sir, we just don't have it right now.
I've got more, but that's enough of mine. Oh, yeah, one other thing. We look in the new section at hallway. Every time I walk in there, I think I'm walking into Reagan International. You know how when you first walk in, there's big old space you get there, and there's nothing down through there, nothing. And it seems to me like we could put some kind of decor, whether it be painted pictures on the wall or something. That's the feeling I get
Right. We've been working with the color committee. We've been generating some renderings to show banners going in there, flags, school memorabilia, things like that. Color committee asked that the rendering has some changes made to it, so we're going to make those changes. When we have opening night, if we don't have those items in there, we'll have a rendering at least that will show what that hallway is going to look like. I've always referred to it as a spirit hallway. So that's kind of the theme of that particular area, school spirit.
Mr. Holman, would it be helpful to the board members, I know it might be helpful to me to have a list of, a punch list of things as you generate them, or once you get some sort of close to final, so that some of these issues that they've seen and talked about that are on your punch list, we don't bring them up and itemize them. We already know you're going to address them.
We can do that. I'd be happy to, meet with any or all of you and go through any of the concerns that you have to make sure that we do have them all.
That would, if it's not on the punch list, then I'd say, yeah, we need to address it, but if it's on your punch list, we know you know about it, then we're going to get to fixing it. It's just a question of when, not if.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you have an additional slide, Mr. Holman?
No.
Several of the items that were mentioned, I just want to be sure that I'm probably speaking the obvious, but if they're not included in the original scope of work of the contract that would be included as additional change orders. So just keep in mind, we do have on that slide that Mr. Honan showed on the high school, that I asked him to separate the two items. One are change orders that were generated primarily because in the course of building, you run into things that you have to do, like if it's a fire code violation, you have to put sprinklers there, or you have to do a railing, you bring something up to code. That's just the cost of building. But then there are other things like repurposing an instructional space, or in the cases of taking that tile down out of a room that currently was not included as an office space or was not planned to be renovated. Those things generate additional change orders. So we try to manage all of them, and I ask them to classify them as both. So you'll see the ones that are required, but also you'll see the ones that are owner-generated. And those are the things that add value to the project, but we also have to be mindful also adding AC would be a change order. So we're continuing to monitor those and continue to look at our budget. We're getting to the point where the contractor is at significant completion of the project, completing completing punch list items, and then we also have some items that we are looking at in the project, like adding a spirit hallway, doing some other things that will add to the value of the project. I just want the board to be aware that those things will come at additional costs. We do have, I think Mr. Honan, if I'm correct, right now we're into our contingency. How much are we into our original contingency at this time?
About $488,000.
Okay, so we still have a significant amount of contingency remaining for those change orders. So we're well within our budget. But what we want to do is make sure that when we add the AC, which is going to be very costly change, the spirit hallway will bring back a full accounting of those change orders to let the board know where we are with the final bottom line on the project.
We do have other work scheduled, like, we're replacing all the seats in the auditorium, the stage curtains will be replaced, the stage, that whole area that whole room will get repainted, and we've done the carpeting in there, similar to what we've done here. So there is additional work being done in other parts of the school, so.
Just for correction, those monies were already paid for.
Yes, those are allocated out of different funds, but that is work that is being done.
Thank you, appreciate all your time and explanations. Mr. Martin, if you'll give us a monthly update on revenues and expenditures.
Good evening again. Chairman Carson, Vice Chair Harris, members of the board, Dr. Parker. I apologize this evening, I do not have a financial report to display on the screen behind you. Something must have happened when I get back to my office. I forgot to put another flash drive. But on the hard copy that we have, at the revenue and expenditure report, you have for the month ending August 31st. We have revenues for the month $2,032,711.09, bringing our year-to-date cash receipts to $7,411,703.04. I'm sorry, I read the wrong line. I take that all back. Receipts for the month of August, $2,094,098.13. Year-to-date cash receipts of $8,207,255.88, which represents 18.04% of our budget. Our expenditures for the month, $4,087,935.87. Year-to-date, $7,912,563.39, representing 17.39% of our budget. And those figures, percentage-wise, are comparable to a year ago, August. Disbursements do tend to exceed revenues. That's a heavy spending month. The teachers are loading up the classrooms. We're paying for a lot of software. We're paying for our workers' comp policy. We're paying for our property insurance policy. We try to pay for my big-ticket items. I just want to write the checks in July and have it done instead of expenses, but I think it also adds stability to the financial statements as we proceed through the year and end up in budget season and planning for where we're going to end up at the end of this year. So nothing unusual in there. And if you have any questions, we've got any answers.
I have one quick question. Budget status report for August 31st, 2017, this paper right here?
Yep.
Okay. Where it says total regular fund, the supplemental IDEA Part B 619 grant.
Yeah.
So I just wanted clarification. Were we expecting to get $11,000?
You know, I just made a note to myself, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah.
That $125,000 should have been up in federal funds in the top section, where the budget is $1,117,000.
Where it says we were zero.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I've got to reclassify that.
You know, I was hoping we got like an extra,
Now they're-
$112,000 from that. At the bottom, on the other side, it's like, oh, we got all the money we're supposed to get.
That should not be the subject of any potential sweep that needs to be.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, Mr. Martin, estimated cost per pupil.
Yes, ma'am. This is something required by the law that we publish this every year. This again is based on the budget, and it's actually the source of the numbers for calculating the tuition that we talked about a little earlier. So Virginia stipulates, if you look on the second page of that document, it stipulates the format and the categories that it wants to be published on the internet. And assuming, so I will be getting this to technology and have this published on our website. You see that 3 years are required. The only one that is actual numbers is 2015-16. Some might think that we could have 2016-17 actual by now, but that just isn't the case. The audit isn't completed for fiscal year 17, and most school divisions wait for what's called the superintendent's annual report, which is the Virginia Superintendent of Education. He publishes a report after all the data is collected from all the annual school reports that are filed in September. They just have this massive spreadsheet that shows where the sources of all the funding were, where all the expenditures were, and they break that all down per pupil, percentage of the budget. They give just all kinds of data, and that's the easiest document to create a bunch of stuff that's required by law to be published. So most school divisions wait for that. It comes out in January, February each year. So the 16, 17, that's why that's an estimate, and obviously 17 is an estimate based on our budgets.
Where did the auditors stand in the field work?
They're coming out the week of October 2nd.
Oh, thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, so now we're going to do the FY17 student activity fund audit.
This is fun. I've got nothing but good news to share with you as far as the audit of the student activity funds. Great team of bookkeepers. I'm not sure to what extent the principals are involved, but they just went through this thing and everything came up great. If you get a minute, this is a letter that auditors give us after the audit is conducted. They talk about things like, were there any conflicts, were there any delays, were there any variables, were there any, did the school feel like they had to go get an attorney? Did the school feel like they had to go get a second opinion? Nothing like that at all. Everything is very nice. Lots of numbers in the report. They run about $900,000 a year through the various accounts. They carry a collective balance of about $400,000. If you look through there and you want any information about what they're spending money in or getting money from in particular categories, just let me know and I'll find it.
Anyone have any more questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
This time we're going to move to board comments. Mrs. Kelly, shall we start on this?
Yes, I'd just like to thank again the staff and everybody for a great start to the school year. I need clarification on this. It's hard to believe the interims go out this week. Wow. But no, and specifically here at the middle school, because this is one of the places where I am the most, I've noticed like a massive change in the environment and culture. I think I've been on the board 6, 7 years, and that's the first time I've ever heard anybody come up and talk about how great things are at the middle school. So I just wanted to say I'm very proud of the effort of our staff, and I hope that they keep it up. And as someone who has a kid in the school here, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Spalding, on down the line.
Yes, I just have one. I'd like to, and there's no one here tonight, but anyway, I'll say it anyway. Mr. Wick is here. I'd like to congratulate the football team, the staff, all the players. That game Friday night, if you didn't see it, you missed a football game. I haven't seen a football game in 3 years, and this was a football game. I have a lot of experience, and some of you don't know that, but I've been in it all my life. And I'm really proud of those kids. Down 2 touchdowns right off the bat. They could have packed it in. They ended up winning 25-21, I think it was. And I was so proud of them. And I'm hoping, and I know the community was too, they were really excited that they keep that going. They don't have to win them all, just look good like they did. And I was so proud of them. So if you did get a chance to see them play, when you can, go out and see them play. That's all.
Well, I have a couple of things. Ms. Rollins could not be here, unfortunately, tonight. She had to take her sister to the hospital. But she had some things she wanted me to share. She called me, and she always is right on time. On the back of the high school, she said, and I will ask you all, there's some bars on the back that have been put on the back of the high school. Are they for some kind of suspension or something? Are you familiar with what she's talking about? Is it for some safety thing or something, some kind of metal bars on the back of the high school? I'm not sure exactly. Maybe you can look back there, I don't know, and we could address that. No, I don't know exactly. She said she didn't know if they were holding something up. Oh, maybe they're pipes. They're pipes.
There are pipes that come down the back here where the old gym, that area there.
The pipes that feed the air for
Yeah.
water.
Oh, okay.
Heat
That's
to
what
the ground.
okay. All right. I don't know. I'm just repeating what I was told. She also said that in the football game, she was also saying that there was so much excitement, that there was a lot of alumni there. There were tons of great comments about it, that parents were there and they were asking about what they could do about being on a committee because they're so glad about this change in the school climate. So she was really excited about all that positivity that she heard, and maybe she can convey Dr. Parker who she was talking to. But that was really good to hear. Excuse my list here. She also said that on the back of the high school where there was a brick walkway, there were boosters that sold bricks for a project to raise funds. Are you familiar with the walk? She said there was a lot of runoff, water running down it, and that it looks like that it's coming out of nowhere and running down the brick there, so maybe it needs to be addressed as far as grading over there or something, that the water's running down the brick there. And she said it didn't look like it had a purpose to be there. It's coming from somewhere, she didn't know where. And so those were her comments. I just want to say how proud I was today at Lewis and Clark for us to have a teacher recognized as one of the best 8 in the state of Virginia. And for our district, I believe it's 17 counties that are included almost in that area. And Ms. Mayer is our teacher of the year, and now for Region 3. And we are just so proud, and we hope she goes forth in Congress. She is excellent, and if you have a chance to go in the room, you'll see why she is our respective teacher of the year. And I also would like to challenge the board to think about joining a committee. We'd like everybody on the board to be on at least 2 committees, so if you're only on one, think about stepping it up and joining another committee. CTE always can use more people. The CIP committee and Pathways 2022. I'm sure that we could put you on one of our different committees there, and or just come volunteer and use the classrooms. And so I just think we're off to a great year, and I too have been hearing so many positive things about the middle school. It validates everything we've done and all the hard work that's been put into this school year. So thank you so much. Mr. Copeland.
I had no comments originally, but I want to ad-lib this comment that to receive positive feedback from a person who is defecting out of the school system is quite joyous personally. We're demanding excellence, and excellence is being given to us in volumes that we didn't expect, and now that we're getting it, we're going to keep on expecting that level of performance. Count on it. And but I'm really proud. Thank you for doing such great work.
Dr. Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to start my remarks by just making, obviously just commenting that we lost a student recently. Her name is Dakota. She was a student at Bowling Green Elementary. And it's always difficult when you lose one, just one student. I mean, even if you have 4,200 kids, when you lose one, it is significant. And I really want to applaud not only the staff at Bowling Green Elementary, the leadership there, the parents, but also what I noticed also was that the day when the kids came back to school, there were several faith-based organizations, ministers, greeting students and helping the faculty heal alongside our guidance counselors and our grief counselors that we sent over to the school. That sent a significant message not only to us, to the folks here at Central Office, but also it sent a strong message to the staff there that they are in good hands, and the community really values not only the work that they do for children, but also value the children that we serve. So I wish the family well. It's always hard to lose someone that young, to lose someone in general. But I'd like to also just make sure that we do take a moment to reflect on that young lady's life, because she meant a lot to a lot of people. And on another note, I want to also commend, I was unfortunately, I couldn't make the acknowledgement this morning for Sarah Anderson Mayer, our Region 3 Teacher of the Year, one of the best of 8 teachers out of the state of Virginia. I also, want to acknowledge that we also house the National Agriculture Teacher of the Year also, the National Agriculture Teacher of the Year in Caroline County. And I think we have a lot to be proud of when you think of those, not only the people who are serving our students, but also what we're doing, even though it's tedious work and it's gritty work and we're never satisfied with the end result, we're building a special place for our kids here. And I think not only instructionally, I think the board was engaged this afternoon with, this evening with some instructional programs that we are providing for reading, literacy, writing, and math. But also, when we look at the work that we're doing to make all of our schools a special place, putting the right people there, putting the right leadership there, I think we're really heading in the right direction. And I just want to take a moment to say that out of all of the struggles that we may go through, they are just minor in comparison to the task at hand and what we're building here, what the future will look like in Caroline County. So I'm very proud of this work. I'm very proud of the board for being engaged with this work. I see the board members are ingrained in everything: mentorship, sports, parenting, capital improvement committees. So the board is really engaged in this work as well, and I commend you also for the work that you're doing to make this a special place for our students. That concludes my comments. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we resignation, request for family medical leave, a stipend for teaching and extra class stipends for the department, a grade level of chairs, club sponsors, mentors, media, and content liaisons, and webmasters, a voluntary transfer, promotion, a contract modification stipend for taking a student and the coaches list, superintendent's draft goals 2017-18 as authorized by section 2.2-3711A1 of Code of Virginia 1950 as amended.
Second.
And this is for the case.
Yes.
Appeal 09-11-2017.01.
Second.
Call for the vote,
Mr.
please.
Spalding.
Aye.
Mr. Copeland.
Aye.
Mrs. Harris. Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mrs. Carson.
Aye.